If you are God's chosen ones, never reveal these 5 things to anyone. What if I told you that there are secrets God's chosen should always keep hidden? In a world where oversharing has become the norm, where social media platforms encourage us to broadcast every aspect of our lives, there exists a counterintuitive truth. There is great power in silence. For those who consider themselves chosen by God, this power takes on an even deeper significance. By remaining quiet about certain aspects of their lives, God's chosen ones can protect themselves, their plans, and their divine connection. The Bible itself speaks to the importance of discretion. Proverbs 11:13 tells us, "A gossip betrays a confidence, but a trustworthy person keeps a secret." This ancient wisdom reminds us that there is virtue in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. In today's fast-paced, information-driven world, this lesson is more crucial than ever. But what exactly should God's chosen ones keep private? What are the sacred aspects of their lives that must remain hidden from the prying eyes of the world? Let's explore 5 critical areas that deserve our utmost discretion and understand why guarding these secrets can strengthen our spiritual journey and protect us from unnecessary challenges. 1. Future plans and dreams. Imagine you've just received a divine revelation about your future. Perhaps God has shown you a glimpse of your calling or given you insight into a grand plan He has for your life. The excitement bubbles within you, and your first instinct might be to share this incredible news with everyone you know. However, this is precisely the moment when silence becomes your greatest ally. Why keep your future plans and dreams private? Protection from premature opposition. When you share your plans too early, you open yourself up to criticism, doubt, and even active opposition from those who may not understand or support your vision. By keeping your dreams close to your chest, you allow them to take root and grow strong before facing the potential storms of skepticism. Avoiding the dissipation of energy. There's a phenomenon psychologists call social reality. When we talk about our plans, our brains can sometimes trick us into feeling as if we've already accomplished them. This false sense of achievement can lead to a decrease in motivation and energy needed to actually pursue these goals. Aligning with God's timing. Often, when God reveals a plan to us, it's not meant for immediate action or public knowledge. By keeping these revelations private, we show trust in God's timing and allow Him to orchestrate the perfect moment for our dreams to unfold. Maintaining flexibility. As we journey with God, our understanding of His plans may evolve. Keeping our future plans private allows us the flexibility to adjust course without the added pressure of public expectations or the need to explain every shift in direction. Cultivating humility. There's a subtle pride in wanting to share every blessing or revelation we receive. By choosing to keep these things between ourselves and God, we cultivate a spirit of humility and dependence on Him rather than seeking validation from others. The story of Joseph in the Bible provides a powerful example of the wisdom in keeping divine plans private. In Genesis 37, we see young Joseph sharing his prophetic dreams with his family. His brothers, jealousy and resentment towards these revelations led to years of hardship for Joseph. While God ultimately used these circumstances for good, we can learn from Joseph's early mistake of sharing too much, too soon. Instead of immediately broadcasting your God-given dreams and plans, consider adopting a posture of quiet confidence. Trust that the One who planted these visions in your heart will bring them to fruition in His perfect timing. Use this period of silence to prepare, to grow in character, and to deepen your relationship with God. Let your actions, rather than your words, eventually reveal the plans God has for you. Remember the words of Ecclesiastes 3:7, which tells us there is but a time to be silent and a time to speak. Discerning the right time to reveal your plans is a crucial skill for God's chosen ones. Until that time comes, let the anticipation of God's unfolding plan be a sweet secret between you and your Creator. 2. Personal family. Matters. Family is often considered the cornerstone of society, a sacred institution designed by God Himself. For God's chosen ones, family can be both a source of great strength and, at times, significant challenges. It's in navigating these family dynamics that the power of discretion becomes paramount. Why keep personal family matters private? Preserving family dignity. Every family faces its share of struggles, conflicts, and personal issues. By keeping these matters private, we honor the dignity of our family members and protect their reputation in the broader community. Maintaining trust within the family unit. When family members know that their personal struggles won't become public knowledge, it fosters an environment of trust and openness within the home. This trust is crucial for healing, reconciliation, and growth. Avoiding unnecessary judgment. The world is quick to judge, often without full understanding. By keeping family matters private, we shield our loved ones from the harsh and often uninformed opinions of outsiders. Protecting vulnerable family members. Children, elderly parents, or family members going through difficult times are particularly vulnerable. Keeping their struggles private is an act of love and protection, allowing space for God's work. Sometimes, family issues require divine intervention. By keeping these matters private, we create a sacred space for God to work in our families without the interference of well-meaning but potentially harmful outside influences. Demonstrating loyalty and love. The ability to keep family matters private is a powerful demonstration of loyalty and unconditional love. It shows family members that your commitment to them supersedes any desire for attention or sympathy from others, focusing on solutions rather than drama. When family issues remain private, it's easier to focus on finding solutions rather than getting caught up in the drama that can ensue when others become involved. The Bible provides guidance on how to handle family matters with discretion. Proverbs 17:9 advises, "Whoever would foster love covers over an offense, but whoever repeats the matter separates close friends." This wisdom extends to family relationships as well. By choosing not to broadcast family struggles, we create an environment where love can flourish and healing can take place. Consider the story of Noah after the flood. In Genesis 9, we read about an incident where Noah became drunk and lay uncovered in his tent. His son Ham saw his father's nakedness and told his brothers, but Shem and Japheth chose to cover their father without looking at him. This story illustrates the importance of preserving family dignity and the blessings that come from discretion in family matters. For God's chosen ones, the temptation to share family struggles can be particularly strong. You might feel that by sharing, you're being transparent or seeking support from your spiritual community. While there's certainly a time and place for seeking counsel, it's crucial to discern when and with whom to share sensitive family information. Instead of broadcasting family issues, consider these alternatives. Prayer. Bring your family matters before God in earnest. Private prayer. Trust in His power to heal, restore, and guide your family through any challenge. Seek professional help when necessary. Don't hesitate to seek the help of professional counselors or therapists who are bound by confidentiality. Selective sharing. If you must share, do so with extreme discretion, choosing one or two trusted individuals who can provide wisdom and support without compromising your family's privacy. Focus on personal growth. Often, family challenges provide opportunities for personal growth. Instead of discussing the issues themselves, share the lessons you're learning through the process. Remember, as one of God's chosen, your family is a sacred trust. By guarding your personal family matters with care and discretion, you honor that trust and create a safe space for God's love and healing to flourish within your home. 3. Early victories and breakthroughs. In the journey of faith, God often grants us victories and breakthroughs that serve as milestones in our spiritual growth. These moments of triumph, whether big or small, are precious gifts that can significantly impact our walk with God. However, for His chosen ones, there's wisdom in keeping these early victories and breakthroughs private. Why keep early victories and breakthroughs private? Avoiding premature celebration. Early successes are often just the beginning of a longer journey. By keeping these initial victories private, We guard against the temptation to celebrate prematurely, allowing our success to fully mature before sharing it with the world. Protection from the evil eye. While not everyone believes in the concept of the evil eye, there's wisdom in recognizing that success can sometimes attract negative attention or jealousy from others. Keeping early breakthroughs private can shield us from unnecessary opposition or spiritual attacks. Maintaining humility. Early victories can sometimes lead to pride if we're not careful. By keeping these successes between ourselves and God, we cultivate a spirit of humility and dependency on Him rather than on our own abilities, allowing room for growth. Initial breakthroughs are often just the first step in a process of growth and development. By keeping them private, we give ourselves space to learn, refine, and fully understand the lessons God is teaching us through these experiences. Avoiding unnecessary pressure. When we share our early successes, we can inadvertently create expectations from others. This added pressure can sometimes hinder our progress or cause us to make decisions based on others' expectations rather than God's guidance. Preserving the sacredness of the experience. Some victories and breakthroughs are deeply personal and sacred. Keeping them private allows us to cherish these moments with God, deepening our intimate relationship with Him. Building resilience. Not every step after an early victory will feel like success. By keeping these breakthroughs private, we build resilience, learning to find our validation in God rather than in the approval or recognition of others. The Bible provides several examples of the wisdom in keeping early victories private. Consider the story of David, anointed as the future king of Israel while still a young shepherd. In 1 Samuel 16, we see that even after this incredible anointing, David returned to tending his sheep. He didn't broadcast his future role, but instead allowed God to unfold His plan in due time. Another powerful example is found in the life of Jesus Himself. After performing miracles, He often instructed those He healed not to tell anyone, Mark 1:44, Matthew 8:4. This wasn't due to shame or secrecy, but rather to ensure that His mission unfolded according to God's perfect timing and plan. For God's chosen ones today, the principle remains the same. When you experience a breakthrough in your prayer life, receive a miraculous healing, or achieve a significant personal or professional milestone, consider keeping it between you and God, at least initially. This doesn't mean you never share your testimonies. There's certainly a time for that. But it does mean being discerning about when and how you share. Here are some practical ways to handle early victories and breakthroughs. Journal privately. Record your experiences in a personal journal. This allows you to process and remember these special moments without broadcasting them. Quiet thanksgiving. Spend time in private prayer, thanking God for His faithfulness and the breakthroughs He's granted you. Seek confirmation. If you're unsure whether to share a victory, seek God's guidance through prayer and perhaps the counsel of one trusted spiritual advisor. Focus on the lesson, not the achievement. If you do feel led to share, focus on what God taught you through the experience rather than on the achievement itself. Wait for fruit. Allow time for the fruits of your breakthrough to become evident before sharing. This not only confirms the victory, but also provides a more comprehensive testimony. Remember the words of Jesus in Matthew 6:6. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. This principle extends beyond prayer to many aspects of our spiritual life, including our victories and breakthroughs. As one of God's chosen, your early victories and breakthroughs are precious seeds of what's to come. By guarding them carefully, you allow these seeds to take root and grow into strong, fruitful trees that will ultimately bring glory to God and bless many others in His perfect timing. 4. Financial details. Money is often considered a taboo subject in many circles, and for God's chosen ones, there's wisdom in maintaining a level of privacy when it comes to financial matters. Whether you're experiencing abundance or facing challenges, keeping your financial details private can protect you from various pitfalls and strengthen your reliance on God. Why keep financial details private? avoiding comparison and envy. When financial details are shared, it often leads to unhealthy comparisons. This can breed envy in others or pride in ourselves, neither of which is beneficial for spiritual growth. Protection from exploitation. Knowledge of one's financial status can sometimes attract those with ill intentions, whether it's scammers targeting the wealthy or opportunists taking advantage of those in need. Maintaining focus on God's provision. By keeping financial details private, we remind ourselves and others that our trust is in God's provision, not in our bank accounts or financial strategies. Freedom in giving. When others don't know our financial status, we have more freedom to give generously without creating expectations or being judged for our giving choices. Avoiding materialism. Keeping financial matters private helps us and those around us focus on what truly matters, our relationship with God and others, rather than on material possessions. Protecting family dynamics. Financial details can sometimes create tension within families or communities. Privacy in this area can help maintain healthy relationships. Stewardship without scrutiny. As stewards of God's resources, we're called to manage our finances wisely. Keeping details private allows us to make decisions based on God's guidance rather than others' opinions. The Bible has much to say about the wisdom of financial discretion. Proverbs 13:7 tells us, "One person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth." This verse highlights the futility and potential deception in showcasing one's financial status. Jesus himself emphasized the importance of financial privacy in giving. Maintaining financial privacy requires wisdom and discernment. Here are some practical ways to handle your financial matters with discretion. Practice quiet generosity. Give to others and to God's work without fanfare or public recognition. Seek financial counsel wisely. If you need financial advice, seek it from trusted professional sources who are bound by confidentiality. Teach principles, not specifics. When discussing finances with others, focus on biblical principles of stewardship rather than on personal financial details. Be content in all circumstances, whether in abundance or need. Cultivate an attitude of contentment that doesn't depend on your financial status. Redirect financial discussions. When others ask about your finances, gently redirect the conversation to more edifying topics. Use wisdom in lifestyle choices. Live in a way that reflects good stewardship without flaunting wealth or lamenting lack. Trust God's provision privately. When facing financial challenges, bring your needs before God in private prayer rather than broadcasting them widely. Remember the story of the widow's mite in Mark 12:41-44. Jesus praised the poor widow who gave 2 small coins, saying she had given more than all the others because she gave out of her poverty. This story reminds us that God sees our financial situations and values our hearts above our bank accounts. As one of God's chosen, your financial life is an important aspect of your stewardship and faith journey. By keeping your financial details private, you create space for God to work in your life without the complications that can arise from public knowledge of your financial status. You also set an example of trust in God's provision and wise stewardship that can inspire others without the need for specific disclosures. In a world obsessed with wealth and status, your choice to keep financial matters private stands as a powerful testimony to your trust in God above all else. It reminds you and others that true riches are found not in earthly treasures, but in the invaluable relationship we have with our Heavenly Father. 5. Spiritual encounters and experiences. For God's chosen ones, spiritual encounters and experiences are often the most precious and transformative moments in their faith journey. These can range from profound visions and dreams to subtle but powerful moments of God's presence in daily life. While the temptation to share these experiences can be strong, there's deep wisdom in keeping many of these encounters private. Why keep spiritual encounters and experiences private? Preserving the sacredness of the moment. Spiritual experiences are often intensely personal and sacred. Keeping them private maintains their special nature and prevents them from being diluted or misunderstood by others. Avoiding spiritual pride. Sharing spiritual experiences can sometimes lead to a sense of spiritual superiority or pride. Keeping them private helps maintain humility and keeps the focus on God rather than on the experience itself. Protecting against skepticism and ridicule. Not everyone will understand or believe your spiritual experiences. Keeping them private shields you from unnecessary skepticism, criticism, or ridicule that could potentially shake your faith. 4. Allowing time for discernment. Some spiritual experiences require time to fully understand and integrate into your life. Keeping them private gives you space to process and discern their meaning without outside influence. 5. Preventing misinterpretation. Spiritual experiences can be deeply personal and context-dependent. Sharing them too broadly risks having them misinterpreted or applied inappropriately by others. 6. Maintaining intimacy with God. Just as some moments between spouses are meant to be private, certain spiritual encounters are meant to be intimate moments between you and God alone. 7. Avoiding comparison. When spiritual experiences are shared, it can lead to unhealthy comparisons among believers, with some feeling inadequate if they haven't had similar experiences. The Bible provides several examples of the wisdom in keeping spiritual encounters private. Consider the Apostle Paul's experience described in 2 Corinthians 12:1-6. He speaks of a man, widely believed to be himself, who was caught up to the third heaven and heard inexpressible things. Paul chooses not to boast about this experience, recognizing the danger of being thought of too highly. Similarly, after the Transfiguration, Jesus instructed Peter, James, and John not to tell anyone what they had seen until after his resurrection, Mark 9:9. This shows that there's often a right time to share spiritual experiences, but it may not be immediately after they occur. For God's chosen ones today, discernment is key when it comes to spiritual encounters and experiences. Here are some practical guidelines. 1. Journal privately. Record your spiritual experiences in a personal journal. This allows you to remember and reflect on them without sharing them publicly. 2. Pray for discernment. Ask God for wisdom on whether, when, and with whom to share your experiences. 3. Share selectively. If you feel led to share, do so with a trusted spiritual mentor or small group of mature believers who can help you process the experience. 4. Focus on the fruit. Rather than detailing the experience itself, focus on how it has changed your life or drawn you closer to God when you do share. 5. Use discretion in testimony. While personal testimonies can be powerful, be discerning about which spiritual experiences you include in public testimonies. 6. Wait for confirmation. If you believe God has given you a message for others through a spiritual experience, wait for confirmation before sharing it broadly. 7. Protect the privacy of others. If your spiritual experience involves other people, be especially careful about sharing details that might infringe on their privacy. Remember the words of Jesus in Matthew 7:6, "Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces." While this verse has various interpretations, it can be applied to the wisdom of not sharing sacred spiritual experiences with those who might not value or understand them. As one of God's chosen, your spiritual encounters and experiences are precious gifts that shape your relationship with Him. By guarding these experiences carefully, you honor the intimate nature of your relationship with God and allow these encounters to work deeply in your own life before potentially sharing them with others. In a world that often seeks to commodify and sensationalize spiritual experiences, your choice to keep many of these encounters private stands as a powerful testimony to the personal and transformative nature of a relationship with God. It reminds you and others that the most important aspect of faith is not the spectacular experiences, but the daily walk of obedience and intimacy with our Heavenly Father. So the power of silence, a concluding reflection. As we conclude our exploration of these 5 crucial areas that God's chosen ones should keep private, it's important to reflect on the overarching theme that binds them all together, the power of silence. In a world that constantly demands our voice, our opinions, and our stories, choosing to remain silent about certain aspects of our lives is a radical act of faith and wisdom. Silence, in this context, Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. This ancient wisdom reminds us that there is often more power in what we choose not to say than in what we proclaim loudly. For God's chosen ones, this practice of selective silence serves multiple purposes. 1. It deepens our reliance on God. When we resist the urge to broadcast every aspect of our lives, we learn to find our validation and support in God alone. 2. It cultivates humility. Keeping certain things private helps us avoid the pitfalls of pride and self-promotion. 3. It protects our purpose. By guarding our plans, families, victories, resources, and spiritual experiences, we shield ourselves from unnecessary opposition and distraction. 4. It enhances our discernment. The practice of discretion sharpens our ability to discern when to speak and when to remain silent. 5. It strengthens our character. Resisting the cultural pressure to overshare builds self-control and integrity. 6. It preserves the sacredness of our journey. Some aspects of our walk with God are meant to be cherished privately, adding depth and richness to our personal faith. 7. It allows for divine timing. By keeping things private, we allow God to unfold His plans in His perfect timing, rather than rushing to fulfill others' expectations. As you move forward in your journey as one of God's chosen, I encourage you to reflect carefully on these 5 areas we've discussed. Consider how you might apply the principle of sacred silence in your own life. Ask yourself, are there dreams or plans that I need to hold close to my heart for now? How can I better protect the privacy and dignity of my family? Am I celebrating victories prematurely or in a way that might hinder God's ongoing work? How can I practice better stewardship and discretion with my financial matters? Are there spiritual experiences that I should cherish privately rather than share widely? Remember, the goal is not to live in isolation or to never share anything about your life. Rather, it's about developing the wisdom to know what to share, when to share it, and with whom. It's about creating a life that is deeply rooted in God, unswayed by the opinions and pressures of the world. As you embrace this power of silence, you may find that your words carry more weight when you do choose to speak. You may discover a new depth in your relationship with God as you learn to keep certain things just between you and Him. And you may experience a newfound freedom as you release the need for constant validation and affirmation from others. In closing, let the words of Psalm 62:5-6 encourage you. Yes, my soul, find rest in God. My hope comes from Him. Truly He is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress, I will not be shaken. As one of God's chosen, your ultimate security and identity come from Him alone. By guarding these 5 crucial areas of your life, you create space for that divine relationship to flourish, undistracted by the noise of the world. May you walk in wisdom, speak with discernment, and always remember the power of sacred silence in your journey as one of God's chosen ones.